And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lounge podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin of Lakers Daily, joined by Aaron Larsoul. We are doing this on a Wednesday this week instead of our usual Thursday, because Thursday, Aaron goes to the games, and on Thursday, I will be talking to Raj after the game. And then Friday will be my typical happy hour episode, although depending on the outcome of Thursday, might not be all that happy. So we'll see how it goes. Aaron,
Yes.
how are you holding up? My first question for you is, that is a really nice quarter zip. I need to know where I can get that. I need to know.
I mean, shit, this is the first time I even put it on. You can have this one. I'm not kidding. You can have that. I'll get another one, or if I care. Nah, you know what? I didn't have a shirt on today. And I was doing a little work and didn't have a shirt on today. And it was a little cold. And I was looking around for something. And I have a bunch of Lakers shit in the closet, a bunch of Lakers gear. And this one had tags on it still. So I took the tags off and put it on. So I've been wearing it around the house today. This is the first time I've ever put it on. So you can have it.
I'm a fan of quarter zips. I've reached that portion of my life.
I may have a couple other ones too, if you want.
It's a big part of, like, I think once you have your first kid, you go from hoodies to quarter zips for some reason.
Okay.
And then like the after the second kid, it's just like, I mean, I do like the occasional hoodie. The problem with hoodies is that girlfriends, fiancés, wives, like, once a man buys a hoodie, it is immediately inherited by your significant other.
You know what? It doesn't even have to be a significant other. It can be just someone who has been over at your place. They don't have to be that signiignificant. I'm missing.
For some reason, they don't mess with quarter zips. So I kind of like that. I like getting quarter zips because Jen's not interested in those.
Yeah, Jen's not gonna. This one has this weird, the thumb thing, the weird, you can put your thumb through the end of the sleeve kind of thing, which I don't know what the purpose is of that.
Jen would be interested in that now.
I don't think this is going to fit her particularly, but I don't know what the purpose of this is.
My hoodies. You've seen the size. You've seen the size.
There's a size differential between you and your wife. That is true. Yeah. I'll just, I don't know. Send me your address. I'll send it to you.
No, I'm going to be out there this summer.
Yeah, but by then, some non-significant other of mine may have taken it, because it does have the thumb holes for the sleeves, and to your point, how much
I just need to know where to get it. Like,
I don't know if you can. Well, I can tell you where I got this one from the equipment room at the Lakers practice facility. So I don't know if they I don't know if this may be NBA store. I think it is. This may be commercially available. I'm not sure.
I'm going to check it out. I'm going to go look so that I don't break any ethics of journalism by accepting a gift from a team that I cover. I'm kidding. I'm totally by no means whatsoever above any of those gifts. Send me all the gifts. Everybody who
I will send you. I will send you this. I don't care for quarter zips at all. Actually, maybe it's because I don't have any children.
No, I'm telling you, once you have a kid, I wasn't that into them, and then I had kids, and I was like, oh,
well, I will. Nice. Look at this. I just got tickets for the game tomorrow. I will. I will. I'll send you this, and I think I have some more untouched quarter zips that I know I have a gray one, and I may have a black one that I can send your way also.
Sounds good. All right. So today on the show, which we are talking right now on YouTube at youtube.com/@LakersLounge. You can follow me on Twitter at Anthony Irwin LA. You can follow Aaron on Twitter at Aaron Larsoul. You can subscribe to the show everywhere that you get podcasts, preferably on Odyssey. And today on this show, we are going to be talking about this game 3, which I know, Aaron, we're going to break your rule. You say that the only must wins are the ones that would otherwise end your season. I disagree.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to be talking.
What do you mean we're going to break my rule? We're not breaking my rule. I still say it's not a must win.
Well, I disagree.
You disagree.
I'm going to break your rule.
What is the rule?
No, like your rule, your thought on.
Oh, yes. Okay. You're going to disagree with my thought. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got you.
I've also seen a lot of kind of consternation over the way that LeBron handles the offense late. so I want to, kind of address some of that. Robert Ory actually voiced that opinion on Spectrum, which really kind of surprised me because normally LeBron and whoever the Lakers coach is tends to be, and I think Rob also tends to be off limits at Spectrum, and it really kind of surprised me to hear Rob kind of go at LeBron a little bit there for the way that he handles the offense late. So we'll discuss some of that, and then also it's kind of flown under the radar because of the way that the Lakers have lost these two games, because of the entire situation, because for a variety of reasons, Rui and Reaves have both been really quiet in this series, and they're doing a lot defensively. So I think that's part of what people are taking into account. But also, like, you need more from them offensively. You've relied on them throughout the year, especially the last quarter of the season. You really relied on both of those guys once Rui started starting, and not getting anything or not getting nearly as much from both of those players, I think, has really taken its toll on the Lakers offense in this series. So we'll discuss what can be done to get those guys going. I also saw a stat that kind of this is what happens all the time. You have a devastating loss, and then the next 24 hours are just talking in your own head about the what ifs and how that could be avoided. And hey, they're pretty close. Maybe they're close enough to win game 3 or whatever. Then I saw a stat from Ryan Blackburn that apparently the Nuggets are only shooting 26% on wide open threes. It's damn it, the Lakers could play better, but the Nuggets could play way better too.
I don't think they can. Trudell
the
and
Lakers
I were
can't, or the Nuggets can't.
The Lakers. I don't think the Lakers can play better than they did in game 2. I think there is a chance the Nuggets can play worse than they did. But I disagree that the Lakers did not play a perfect game, and it's going to take basically a perfect game to beat Denver if Denver is even good, because I didn't think Denver was that good. I mean, Jamal Murray cooked at the end, but he was 3 of 16 before that. He wasn't doing anything.
He looked pretty lost until Gabe Vincent started guarding him.
So yeah, I think the Lakers have played 1.6 really good games. I think game 2 the Lakers can't play any better. And maybe there's something, maybe you, to your point, maybe you feel good about that because the Lakers have played, the Lakers, let's say the Lakers played an A game in game 2 and a B plus game in game 1. So the Lakers have played well. Maybe that makes you feel good. Hey, the Lakers are playing well against Denver. Maybe there's a world in which the Nuggets play their C- game a couple times and get back in the series. Or you can also look at it as that is as well as we can play, and it wasn't good enough against a good but not great effort against Denver. I could both ways. I think there's a fair argument both ways.
I don't know if you're a video game guy.
Yeah. I mean, not recently. I haven't played in years and years and years, but yeah.
Okay, so there's one of my favorite games all time, because I am a video game guy. It's one of my favorite ways to kind of turn off my brain at the end of the night.
Yep.
One of my favorite games all time is Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, 1 was good, but 2 was really good.
That is the white people shit there, boy.
Yeah,
and I loved it. And I loved it. That was the last game I've played. Yeah.
Okay.
And that was my shit. Yes, that's white people shit, but that was my shit.
Did you ever do horse racing in the second one?
Maybe. Do you want a quick Red Dead Redemption? This connects to the
let
Lakers.
me give the analogy, and then we'll. All right. So the games that the Lakers have played against the Nuggets so far, it reminds me a lot of horse racing in Red Dead Redemption 2, where you can get the best horse in the game. There's actually, it's not really a cheat code because you got to go and actually get the horse, but you can get the best horse in the game really early on by just going basically back to where the game started. So you go and you get this horse. It's the fastest horse. It maneuvers the best of any horse in the game. It's the perfect horse. And you can, you know, and then from then on, you can win any horse race that you're in. And the easiest way to win any horse race that you're in is to get challenged. And then you basically just kind of tail you stay right on the horse's tail that you're racing.
Okay.
Or the character's
do the
horse
horse
that
thing.
you're
Yeah,
racing.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then if you have this really good horse, you can just blow it away down the home stretch, right? And that's just how you can. I have a perfect record in that game on horse racing because that's exactly how you do it. And I have won now. We'll just say, you know, a fun arbitrary number, completely arbitrary number, 10 horse races in a row, right? Because you know, the Nuggets, I mean, I would just stay right there with my competition and just blow that horse away there at the very end. And that's exactly how all of these Lakers Nuggets games have gone, right? The Nuggets just do enough to kind of stick around. They stick around, and then boom, they just take off. And they beat the absolute piss out of the Lakers in these clutch minutes. I think I saw a stat that Anthony Davis in the second half held a 135.2 defensive rating in game 2 against the Nuggets. The Nuggets offense late against the Lakers, they've had at least a few games here in a row where they'll just score on 8 or 9 out of the final 10 possessions, or
it was
out of the final 9 in this last.
It was 7 of 8 in the last game. I think it was in the last 3 whatever.
Yeah.
It was, they made 7 straight shots and scored on, I think actually they made 7 straight shots and scored on 8 of 9 possessions. The one was the 2 Jamal Murray free throws on that garbage foul call against LeBron late. The only one they didn't score on was when LeBron tipped the ball away, when it switched out onto Murray and tipped the ball away from him and got the dunk with whatever 1 something left.
Yeah.
It feels the Nuggets, at least against the Lakers, and I'm fairly convinced against maybe anybody, the Nuggets feel pretty inevitable. Which,
that's the word I've been using for them all year.
Yeah, I don't really know. What's the white people movies? The Marvel ones, right? Who's like the big bad guy in the last 2, and he's right. That kind of feels like, damn, I haven't really seen that shit, but that's kind of what it feels, right? Like, isn't he supposed to be inevitable or something? Isn't that what they say about him? Yeah. So
hard to call a series of movies that has a big time character called Black Panther white people shit, but you know, that's just me.
Black Panther's in. I mean, I've seen Black Panther. I haven't seen Black Panther 2, but I've seen Black Panther. But is he like heavily featured in all the other ones?
He has his own movie in one of them, and
that's what I'm saying. I've seen Black Panther.
And then, the big fight in the second one takes place in the Black Panther's backyard, right?
Oh, all right.
In Wakanda.
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say like he doesn't. In all of those movies, there's like a ton of heroes there, so like I would say he's as featured as any.
Okay. Does he get some licks in against
I would say though that like I would say that with Game 3 coming up, right? And the reason I use the Red Dead Redemption thing as the analogy here is that like the Lakers have to, you know, blow them out of the water and force the Nuggets to go into turbo mode way earlier in the game. And I got so angry in Game 2 when the starters were playing really, really well. And then Spencer came in at only like the 6-minute mark. It's like, no, when the starters are playing this well, and especially D'Angelo Russell, who Spencer came in for, is playing as well as he is, you need to keep that going, right? I kind of look at D'Angelo Russell as blackjack in a casino, where if you're the best way for you to beat the house is to go on a run. And while you're on that run, absolutely maximize your winnings and put as much money onto the table while you're on that run, and then get out as soon as things appear to be turning, right? For me, anytime I see a new dealer when I'm at a blackjack table, I cash out. I get up out of there. And I think with D'Lo, he had it going. You're on that streak there, and you got up from the table. You subbed him out of the game. You got up from the table way earlier than you had to. And instead of finishing that quarter with what'd they finish with? Like a 4-point lead in the first quarter. right?
Yeah, something like that. It was 15 at half. Yeah.
Instead of finishing that first quarter with a 4-point lead, you needed to finish with a 10-point lead. And then instead of finishing the second quarter with a 14-ish point lead, you got to get up there and try to get it. And I know that, this is all a lot to ask for, but basically the Nuggets feel like they can play with their food here against the Lakers, and they've been proven to be correct. And what the Lakers have to do is take more advantage of those stretches where the Nuggets play with their food, so that by the time they do get serious, it's too late and they can't actually catch back up to the Lakers. And that's, the Lakers have this game on Thursday. For my money, it's an absolute must win. No, it won't end your season literally if you lose it, but it's curtains, right? You're down 3-0 to the defending champs and a team that at that point would have won 11 straight to you. There is no other way to consider this game on Thursday than must win. Like, unless you're as staunch as Aaron is with his rule in the semantics here, the Lakers have to do that. And I'm really curious how Darvin handles this. He said going into game 2 that he was going to go back to his normal rotations. I thought that was a mistake. You have to treat this game as a game 7. This is it. Like, this is your season. And that, I think, means you only pick one of the two between Spencer Dinwiddie and Gabe Vincent. I don't even care if Christian Wood is available. I don't think he should play regardless. I could see an argument for Jared Vanderbilt getting a couple minutes here and there, but even that's difficult to ask somebody who's missed multiple months to come in and play in a game 7 setting against the best team in the league. I know you're gonna say that this isn't a technical or an actual literal must win here, Aaron, but like, would you agree that Darvin has to treat this like a game 7? And do you think he will?
I think he has to treat it. I wouldn't say game 7, but I think it has to be treated like at least a playoff game, right? And not going back to your regular rotation. Like, Austin played 33 minutes the
That was a
other
mistake.
day. It's just not enough, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know about game 7, but I think it needs to be treated like a playoff. Like, I think it needs to be treated as it is, which is a playoff game against somebody that has your number, that is also just feels like the boogeyman. And yeah, I mean, look, the Lakers aren't going to win this series anyway, but yeah, if the Lakers lose on Thursday, tomorrow, as we record this, their season's over. Yeah, I mean, not actually, but yeah. So I think that, yes, I don't, whatever you're saying a game 7 is, he has to like really play, play the starters 42 to 44 minutes each, and then one or two bench players plays 10 or 12, whatever it becomes. Yeah, I think that's, if that's what a game 7 definition is to you, fine. That's like a Tibbs. That's like a Monday, like a Monday in February for Tibbs. So yeah, I think the Lakers need to lean on their guys like normal playoff rotations do. Some teams, actually, to be fair to Darvin, some teams don't do that until a little later in the playoffs. Some teams in the first round, especially early in the first round, are going to play more guys, but it appears the Lakers can't get away with that. So yeah, and now the question is, will he? I don't know. I'm interested in, well, there's two things. I'm interested in how Darvin handles this, and I'm also very interested in how the guys handle this. And I think we're going to know a lot about it. I did not go to Denver, so I was not on the flight back. I've heard that it was pretty somber on the flight back to LA. Understandably, I have not talked to any of the guys since they've been back, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how the guys handle it in the first quarter, like right at the beginning. I think we're going to see something interesting. Like, I think we're going to know something about this right from the beginning, right? What kind of fight is there in the first quarter, in the first few possessions? And did game 2 sap belief from the guys? Like, put the Darvin part aside for a second. Did game 2 sap belief from the guy. It goes back to our earlier question, right? Like, you're playing well, and so do you feel good about playing well, or do you feel bad about playing well and still can't get a win? So I think the first, 3-4 minutes of the game tomorrow are going to tell us a lot. And it may not matter. The Lakers maybe just simply cannot beat the Nuggets, but I think we're going to see a lot, and we'll learn a lot about kind of the fight and some of the mentality and the psyche of this team early, I think, tomorrow.
That's what's annoying. They've handled business early. They've looked great early in most of these games. Like they've looked fine.
Yes, but we're gonna know very quickly if like that would show up. Yes, the Lakers have started well in the first 2 games, but that if the Lakers don't believe anymore, right? If that could have been a soul snatching way to lose game 2. And if it was, I think that will show up early in game 3. And if that's the case, like the Lakers are getting swept and it's over with. We're going to learn how much fight is in these guys in the beginning of game 3, I think.
Yeah, I wanna spend some time here on the LeBron aspect of this because I think when the Lakers have looked their best, they have actually played through Anthony Davis and or they've more consistently featured Anthony Davis, and when they look their worst, it's LeBron matchup hunting. And the thing with that 5-man lineup that again is we're reaching the point here where not only do I think it's the best 5-man lineup in the league, but I think it's going to be one of those groups that we look back on as like one of those groups, like,
oh yeah, they're awesome.
They're so damn good together. But LeBron has matchup hunted a lot down the stretch. For some reason, he's avoided matchup hunting Jamal Murray. And then for some reason, when he's been guarded by KCP, he's been reluctant to post him up, which has been super weird to me. But to me, what I would like to see the Lakers do, and actually we have a super comment on it anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and play this bad boy. Anthony and Jenny Neal asking, I get logistically it is not possible. However, what are the thoughts of having LeBron act like Jokic on the offensive end, high post touches, etc.? Like that to me is when LeBron is at his absolute deadliest, right? Whether it's in the short roll, catching that slip pass between or that pocket pass from Austin. If it's against a team that goes zone, the best thing that the Lakers have basically done is just put LeBron in the middle of it and allow him to pick it apart from there. But for whatever reason against the Nuggets, and maybe it's just what the Nuggets are giving the Lakers, he has spent a lot more time kind of yo-yoing up and down 30 feet from the basket at the very top of everything where the defense can completely key in on him. This to me, I know that I kind of roll my eyes every time older fans will basically go like, you just need to get the ball in the post. You just need to get the ball in the post. You just need to get the ball in the post. But it was kind of Robert Horry's point, and he went at LeBron for going away in all of these games late from the offense that has gotten them there. What do you think of the way that LeBron has handled this, and do you think Anthony and Jenny's Neal's question here, about the logistics of getting LeBron into the high post more than he's been in the series to this point?
No. And the reason for that is, well, there's lots of reasons for that. Excuse me. One is LeBron is not as feared of a scorer, shooter than Joker. And I don't know what you do with Anthony Davis then. You could say you would just have him play the Aaron Gordon role where he's kind of in the dunker spot. But I think that starts clogging stuff up.
That's kind of what Rui does.
Yeah. And Aaron Gordon also spaces. He'll stand in the corner. He's an okay shooter. He's a better 3-point shooter than AD. But the other reason he stands in the corner is because it gets people away from. He's a threat enough that it gets people away from there. So like sitting LeBron in the high post to play as Joker. I think it's going to clog. I think you're going to get clogged up too much because LeBron does not have that Joker like touch around the rim, the floater game. And LeBron is not as feared. I mean, LeBron had a great year shooting the ball, but he is not as feared of a shooter as Joker from distance. So I think there's a philosophical question here, which is like AD was destroying Joker, and they took Joker off of him, put Aaron Gordon on him, and even went to your point earlier, went to KCP against LeBron. The question then becomes, do you run your offense like what has worked, and do you keep going to AD? That's what I would have suggested. I think AD should have gotten more touches. AD was cooking. He was cooking Joker. See how he's going to do on Aaron Gordon. The one time he went at him, he scored on him pretty easily. Or do you say, okay, we want to go at a certain person? And both can have their merits. I think the problem though is the Lakers are letting, when KCP guards, either just straight up guards him, LeBron, or is switched onto him, it's LeBron is on the perimeter, to your point earlier, and he's been reluctant to go post KCP up. You lose your advantage when, like, if you're matchup hunting and you're looking at mismatches, yes, like KCP is way too small to guard LeBron. But if that engagement happens 80% of the time on the perimeter, KC's not really at a disadvantage there. He's a really good perimeter defender, and that size is not going to come into play. You're asking, if your question is why does it feel like LeBron is shooting jumpers and kind of floating around on the perimeter dribbling and not, posting up KCP at the end of the game? It's because he's 39 years old and is out of gas, especially in Denver, right? That takes a lot out of you, going to the rim as much as he does, getting fouled as much as he does and not having it called, etc. Takes, like, LeBron has looked tired at the end of both games. He just can't do it anymore. He cannot.
Doesn't that make it more nonsensical or nonsensible, that illogical that LeBron like still tries doing all of those things? Because I don't know if
you're going to tell LeBron. You're going to tell LeBron like you don't have the ball. Like nobody in the history of planet Earth is taking the ball out of LeBron's hands.
Well, I would at least say, like, hey, why don't you at least run the inverted pick and roll with Austin? Like, do something other than just stand up there and run as many pick and rolls as it takes to be guarded by the guy that you want, when there's nobody in that 5-man lineup that is worth hunting. There's not a single person on that team.
Murray's pretty big. Murray is not a good defensive player. I think you can still attack Joker in space. The Lakers don't really have the
not when LeBron is as gassed as he is. Like, let me play what Ori had to say here, because this like legitimately really shocked me. Like, it really took me aback. I haven't heard this yet, so Ori was willing to go at LeBron in the way that he did.
Pope tonight, not Murray for a long time, and seeing that they had under control, they just lacked killer instinct and frivolous,
even on a guy
unprofessional. Basketball plays, unprofessional basketball plays in the playoffs of the second game of a team that has your number.
Yeah. I think for me, the first thing I ever learned when I got in this league, Olajuwon came to me and it's like, keep it simple. Down the stretch, the Lakers didn't keep it simple. And what I mean by that is on the offensive end. They started to do all these little screens and all these trickeries to try to get the mismatch. You know what a mismatch was? AD on the post. And when they didn't start going to AD on the post, one shot in the fourth quarter, he had 32 points going into the fourth. And for me, you have to understand mismatches. LeBron is 39. Yes, he is one of the best players ever to play this game. He had no advantage tonight. That ISO at the top got them in trouble. You know why? Denver was able to rest on the defensive end. They sat there and they waited on LeBron to make his move, and then they went in. I love LeBron to death, but to me, that's not winning basketball. If you on a break going downhill like that, I am fine with it. But when you get it stationary at top And I know people are going to kill me for saying this because I'm talking about LeBron James. It's basketball. Go to the first half. Did we have that in the first half with LeBron icing at the top? No, we did not. We had D'Lo. Even though D'Lo saved with some threes, the ball was moving. 80 was in the post. You was getting it to him in a stationary position where he can make his move. There's a lot of things that went on in this game. You can bring the subs on the coaching staff.
He continues from there. That is all, by the way, via Spectrum Sportsnet. That show in general has really like found its voice. It's been really, really good. James Worthy is a fucking legend. But what do you think about what Ori is saying there?
I think it's the same thing we were just talking about. Nobody is going to take the ball away from LeBron. They probably shouldn't. LeBron, he was out of gas, it looked like. And to be fair, he kept the Lakers in the game late. D'Lo had the little running little scoop kind of layup, but LeBron was the one making jumpers and getting the steal, getting in transition himself, got the dunk. But yeah, I think the offense should have been run through. I think anytime you have a player, put aside how good Anthony Davis is, anytime you have a player who makes 14 consecutive shots in a playoff game, like they can't take, I don't know what did he finish with? 19 shots or something like that.
Yeah.
That person has to take more shots. And this has been a series so far that has been lost on the offensive end. The Lakers have stopped scoring. It reminds me, the reason I say it's inevitable, or one of the reasons I say Denver feels inevitable, certainly at least against the Lakers, is it reminds me of not even like the dynasty, or I guess it was all dynasty, but not even the, like the world is ending KD Warriors teams, even before that or after that, where the Warriors were just going to keep scoring. And there was going to be, at some point, the Warriors would turn your water off. And then the game was over because they were going to keep scoring. And if you couldn't stop them from turning your water off for 4 minutes or 5 minutes, you lose. And so I think that's what's kind of been happening to the Lakers. The Lakers are losing this, to your point about the fourth quarter offense and LeBron's offense late. The Lakers are losing this series on offense. Denver is a good defensive team. Denver is not a great defensive team. Denver is a good defensive team, but they have had the ability to gum up the works for the Lakers. And I think it's LeBron's fatigue. I think it is some to Ori's point and your point. I think it's incorrect mismatch hunting. I think it is, I think a lot of it's coaching. And some of it is also on AD. Right, because we've seen this before in the regular season. Some of it is on AD, who has the cachet to demand the ball. And when he is cooking, or when anybody's cooking, like you said, D'Lo basically took a half court shot. I think it was late first quarter, early second, when D'Lo had it going. D'Lo was like, get out of the way. I have the ball. I am shooting it from basically half court because he knew he was cooking. So it's like a confluence of, there's plenty of blame to go around. Some of it though is on AD. I put less of it on LeBron than Robert Horry does. I do think LeBron deserves some. I think it's more on Darvin Ham and the coaching staff. But yeah, I would have run the offense through AD, and I do think it's a fair question about mismatch hunting versus just kind of going with the hot hand. And going at Aaron Gordon is a damn good defensive player. So even though AD was cooking, I understand saying like, okay, I don't know, we want to go at that guy. We want to go at these weaker spots, but it didn't work.
It's tough, man, because like you said, this is LeBron. Like this is the greatest basketball mind of his generation, one of the greatest basketball minds ever, if not the, right? And basically asking him, hey man, this has worked for you over the course of your 21-year career. We need to go away from it though.
But really, by the way, also works still. Like he averaged 25 points a game.
Not against Denver. Like I think part of what I was talking about with that horse racing analogy is that like I kind of think Denver just waits for the Lakers to go to the LeBron offense, right? Because that's what they can defend really, really well. I think the Lakers, especially when you play Rui in your starting five and you basically have 5 like dynamic offensive players in that unit.
They're
and
5+ offensive players. Yes.
Yeah, and then you let your offense devolve into top of the key ISO ball, like that makes you less dynamic. It defeats the purpose of having that many dynamic offensive players in your lineup there, and especially because the guys, D'Lo, not a great spot up shooter. Reaves, wish he was a little better spot up shooter.
D'Lo's a
AD,
good spot up shooter.
huh?
D'Lo's a good spot up shooter.
I get, but like he's not like Clay, right? He's not
Okay,
well, no,
you're
but I
right.
mean,
He's
like,
not the
I mean,
second
like,
best
not
shooter
hyper
on the
shooter.
history.
Like,
he's not the second best shooter in the history
he's
of
not
planet
MPJ. He's not
maybe the third best shooter in the history of planet Earth.
but you know what I mean? Like he's good, but he's not great. It's not what he's best at,
No, I mean,
and
he's not like a guy that you're gonna run down. It's run down a
Yeah.
million pin downs,
but
and is
but
going to
that's
the corner
essentially what
and
you're turning him
floppy action.
into, right? That's what that offensive approach is turning him into. Is that you're turning a player who is best with the ball, and I'm not saying that I need D'Lo with a 45% usage rate over the course of the game, but I'd like a little better than 0 if he's going to be out there. And
there's the other question. I said this on Twitter, and then I said it again yesterday after rewatching the game. I don't know why Darvin didn't use the 2 timeouts, and at minimum, when there was a Denver called a timeout, it was a minute and change left. Take D'Lo off. If you have 2 timeouts, I don't understand not doing offensive and defensive substitutions. I don't like
or challenging or.
Fine, but yeah, like to your point about D'Lo's not going to stand out there.
Great seats to an incredible playoff series. It's like
mine aren't bad either.
Yeah, I think this is one of those cases where I think points are being made by everybody, and I think valid points are being made by everybody, right? I understand the desire from the Lakers' perspective or from LeBron's perspective to stick with the thing that has won him as much basketball, as many basketball games.
Let me put one more point on that, though. You're right, but when we are saying it that way, and I understand like why you're saying it that way, but that kind of implies like, oh, it's something that used to work that doesn't work anymore. LeBron is the 8th best player in the world still, or something like that, and scored 25 points a game this season.
Well, why am I saying it however you think?
No, I mean, I understand that the point that you're making is like the implication is like, I understand why you continue to do this. Like, it doesn't work anymore. Like, guys, this thing that used to work, that you got where you are doing this thing that used to work, doesn't really work anymore. And it has not been great. Although LeBron was pretty good in the second half, it has not been great in this series. The Lakers, LeBron has been okay. No, he was terrible at the end of game 1, but he was pretty good at the end of game 2. The Lakers offense in total was not. But like, this is still something that works. It has not worked incredibly well. The Lakers offense has not been particularly good in this series, but this is not something that like is a bygone era of something that LeBron has muscle memory of something that used to work. And, he's like Patrick Ewing in a Sonics jersey, or Hakeem in a Raptors jersey or something like this. Like, LeBron is still LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right. I'm
not saying go away from it entire. Like, I'm not saying go away from it entirely. I still think it should be part of the Lakers' offensive diet, especially late, but I don't think it should be their only source, like their entire diet.
Agree.
The stretches of these.
Agree.
Games.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think, agree. Absolutely. That's fair.
I like part of this equation actually is Reaves, who has basically disappeared in the series, right? Like, game 1, the focus seemed to be getting D'Lo going or getting D'Lo over the hump in that game 1. And I thought they stuck with that a little bit too long. Game 2, right, was an AD game, which is good. AD was playing great. I'm not complaining at all about that. While the Lakers were sticking with AD, and I think also part of this equation with Reaves is that like his legs are kind of gone because of how hard it is to guard Jamal Murray, especially like the like how well I think Reaves has fared against Murray in this series,
And
especially
he played
compared to
83,
Vanderbilt.
and he played 83 games this season.
Vincent, that is, yeah.
And he played 80, and he played for Team USA. Like Austin's played a
Yeah.
lot of hoop, and the Lakers had a late run last year where his leg was busted up. So yes, I think I think that's
I still think though that the Lakers, like, I know it seems unfair to ask this of a third year undrafted player. But he is, I think for in my opinion, and I know this is probably unpopular, but I think he's clearly the Lakers' third best player. And when the games matter more, I think he's easily their third best player. I know people want to hold up D'Lo, but I just will not go there with D'Lo, given what he doesn't do on the defensive end. But the Lakers need more out of their third best player in this series, right? Like I don't have his averages offhand, but they're probably all well below what his season averages are here.
I think he scored 9 points. Game 2 was like 4 of 11. I'll look at while you're talking. I'll look at game 1. Yeah,
Rui also, right? I think Rui game 2 was probably his worst game of his Lakers career. One of his worst games of his NBA career, I would say. Game 2 might have been for him there. The Lakers need to find a way to get those two guys going. And do you agree? Because I'm already seeing somebody saying that the Lakers don't need more from Reaves. I disagree.
That's only 3 comments below people saying they don't like me. This is fun. I like this. That's fun. I'll take the incoming. Yeah, and it goes back to like one of the first things that two things. It goes back to one of the first things we said, and then something said recently is the Lakers are losing this series offensively, and so the Lakers need more offense from wherever it's going to come from. The bench has been a complete disaster offensively. But the thing from that I said at least earlier is I don't know that the Lakers can play. I don't think the Lakers can play better than they played in game 2. LeBron was really good. AD was incredible. So yeah, if the Lakers are going to get better offensively, it has to come from some of the places that have underperformed offensively. Again, put the bench aside because it feels like most of those guys just shouldn't be on the floor. So yeah, I mean the 2 spots where you're gonna look and say need more production are definitely Austin and Rui. Unless, I mean, you brought this up earlier. I don't know, maybe there is a role for Christian Wood, because the one thing that dude can do is get buckets. And so I don't know. If he's available tomorrow, and I think he will be, everything that you've said is correct. Like hasn't played in a couple months, and how he wasn't particularly good even when he was playing. But if you're looking for offense, and you don't know where you're going to find it, that's a place you'll find offense. I mean, you give him whatever, 10 or 15 minutes, he's going to score you 6, 8, 10 points. Like,
yeah,
just waking up.
I don't think Jackson has done anything that would indicate like he has to continue playing in this series.
No, and here's the other thing. And Christian Wood is a good shot blocker. He's not a good defensive player, but he's a good shot blocker. And I have the problem. So I advocate for AD just guarding Joker. And look, AD can't guard Joker. Nobody can guard him. But I advocate for AD guarding Joker. You have to switch it up.
Yeah.
But I like AD guarding Joker. And when he guards him, I don't like sending a bunch of help, because like if you are having to send help, then what's the point of having AD guard him, right? Have somebody else guard him and send help, and then have AD.
Who the hell is going to help? Like who's
and then have AD back there kind of roaming. But
yeah.
I think, and I've been surprised that this hasn't really been a thing with Jackson Hayes playing with AD guarding, because then you have some size back there, if for whatever happens. And if AD gets beat, then you have somebody else to challenge Joker at the rim. If, Joker ends up passing, then you have another shot blocker that's not stuck on Joker. So I think that Christian Wood and AD playing some together makes a little bit of sense if AD is going to be the one that guards Joker. So I'm kind of talking myself into some, not a lot, some Wood minutes tomorrow, just because you need buckets, right? And I don't know that we can expect more from LeBron and AD. and it's not coming. It does not appear to be coming from Jackson Hayes or Gabe Vincent or Spencer Dinwiddie. It hasn't come from Rui yet, and Austin has been kind of up and down, and D'Lo has been very up and down. So that is one place that you can get a little microwave scoring.
All right. This just happened while you were talking, Aaron. Not like breaking news or anything like that, but it's a quote that's pissing me off. So after the game, right, Anthony Davis says, quote, that the Lakers have stretches where we don't know what we're doing. And I guess Darvin Ham was asked about it, and Darvin apparently says that it was just frustration from Anthony Davis and that he will agree to disagree. And
what's Darvin supposed to say, though?
Well, here's my thing, though. And like I know you don't have a big ass cup of unnamed cognac that you could sip while I rant.
I was just thinking. I was thinking. Like I haven't been sleeping much. This has been. I've been watching a lot of basketball and trying to get this shit fixed. And so I allowed myself one diet beer. But I
like diet beer. That's funny.
One low carb beer while we're sitting here talking. If you're telling me I need to go get some unnamed cognac. I haven't shaved recently. I need a haircut. It's been the playoffs. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. So what is Darvin supposed to say?
I think that was an opportunity to kind of look within himself, and any decent head coach maybe would have heard his stars saying that about his leadership, basically. And here's the thing: all year, the word that I have had described, the way that people around the league and then close to the Lakers have described this coaching staff, the most pervasive word has been arrogant. And this idea that this coaching staff that hasn't really done anything to this point carries themselves the way that they do. One person in particularly, not even necessarily being Darvin Ham, but the arrogance on this staff is something that a lot of people, it's come to be kind of a central part of this coaching staff's identity. And to have a top 75 player, the second best player on your team, your most talented player is
he's better than LeBron. He's better at basketball than LeBron now.
Wherever you want to put AD, he's either your best or your second best player. He is your defense. He's not your best defensive player. He's your defense. To have your defense basically say, hey, for stretches of the game, we don't know what we're doing out there, and to basically write it off as, that guy, that silly Billy. Man, come on.
You're PR. You come from PR. You come from PR, so sure.
Well, but I don't. I think this is bad PR.
No, that's what I'm saying. But yes. But
this
what I'm
is
saying
writing
is,
off what you're.
What is he supposed to say? He's supposed to say no. I'm not suggesting what he should do or how he should feel or anything like that. Because yes, I think that Darvin has not taken as much accountability as he should have since he's been the Lakers coach. Fine. Mm-hmm. But that's different than publicly coming out and saying man, I suck. You're right. We don't know what we're doing for 4 minutes here and there. What is he supposed to say?
All right. You want the PR way to handle this? This is my PR expertise at work here. This is why I made the big bucks when I was in PR.
What he should have done is say, I didn't hear him say that. I don't know.
No, I don't even think it's that. I would say I saw the quote. 80 and I talked about it. I wanted to see where he was coming from on that quote. We've talked about it, and we've addressed it, and we're gonna try to get better at that.
That's fine.
That's the answer you get.
Yes, sure.
Not that guy. He's so funny sometimes. Yeah, he was just pissed. He was all up in his feelings, and he was saying.
My point is, and this because you are a smart dude, but because you're in PR, also what people say. And what people let you know that they're thinking or say or doing has often nothing to do with what is actually happening. So just because he doesn't say I'm taking accountability doesn't mean that he's not. Or just because he didn't go say, hey, AD, what, when, why, how, it doesn't mean it's not happening is my point.
Yeah, except he said it so often, and there's enough people who are annoyed with how little he takes accountability in those walls that it's like, I don't know how much he's actually doing those things, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I think you would like a different answer. Not you specifically. Like people would
yeah.
like a different answer than the one I'm going to give. But like, he, I I don't really care like what Darvin says to make, or not just Darvin, like anybody, what he says to make fans like feel better about it. Like it just that go win basketball games, then fans will feel better. Coach
Yeah.
better, then fans will feel better.
But like, I look, when you're a coach, you are in many ways the face of your organization, or one
yeah,
of the major
absolutely.
faces of your organization. And you
Absolutely.
got to be better at this than Darvin has been. Like he's not been good
No,
at
you
this.
need to be better at coaching. You don't need to be better at.
But this is part
giving
of
quotes.
coaching.
No,
Like,
it's
that's
not.
part. It's
No, it's not. Tibbs is the most favored son in New York. He could run for governor of New York and would probably win right now. You know why?
well, the
Because
current governor sucks,
because
but- It
I
helps.
was gonna leave that out, but it's because he is the worst quote in the world. He basically calls everybody idiots. Like every time they're like, "Why did you do this? You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about." Like, and gives the media nothing, gives fans nothing, makes people like. But he could. How about New Jersey then? Maybe he can run in New Jersey or some neighboring state that are all Knicks fans still, because they win basketball games. He's an asshole to everybody generally. No, I wouldn't call him an asshole. He's like short with people, kind of like Bill Belichick, or how Pop used to do those sideline interviews. It's not like if Darvin was winning basketball games, more basketball games, and people thought that, all right, we got a shot in this series, then like nobody cares what Darvin is saying.
Well, if he was better at his job, he probably wouldn't have to answer questions like this about his superstar saying that he doesn't know what he's doing. If he was better at his job, this question wouldn't need to be asked, right?
That is a fair way to look at it. My point is, if the Lakers were winning more, like it's not an inherent part of coaching to do PR for the fans. It's great when coaches do that, and some coaches have a personality that plays to that more, but it's not part of the job to do that. So Warriors fans hate Steve Kerr. No, that's no.
And you hate Steve Kerr.
I do not hate Steve Kerr. I hate Steve Kerr, the basketball coach. I think Steve Kerr is one of the best humans around. But no, I do not like him as a basketball coach. However, the point is like, that is great. It's not inherent in the job. What is inherent in the job is winning basketball games. That is the job, period.
All right. I've held you here too long. The plan, as it is, right, is Aaron is going to be at the game tomorrow. And then after the game, Raj and I,
a lot of unnamed cognac tomorrow. I can assure you, a lot of unnamed.
It's be an IV, just an IV.
We'll be walking around. What are those little things in the hospital? There's a little they're little
banana
bags. It looks like a coat hanger, basically, like a coat rack on wheels where they just hang the IV from. I'm gonna be walking around with that, with one of those little hospital gowns that's open in the back, just wandering around crypto hooked up to the unnamed cognac IV.
The open in the back detail is perfect.
Yeah. Oh, do you want my Red Dead Redemption 2 Lakers story?
Okay, yeah.
So this was when I was on the road with the team. When was it? I think it was LeBron's first year. So road trip, we go to Orlando, start in Orlando, then Miami, then Cleveland. And I was so into Red Dead Redemption 2, which is the only video game I've played in 10 years, probably. Although shout out college football, NCAA 25 coming out in
Almost
July.
Coming.
Yeah, let's go. So sports games I'm into, the rest of it I'm not generally. Anyway, so I bring my PS4 on the trip with me because I'm just so hooked on Red Dead Redemption. I had never been to, no, that's not true. I had very infrequently been to Orlando before. So I went and kind of, explored Orlando a little bit, hung out there, and then Miami, we had a good time. We were a few extra days in Miami. Miami was very Miami. It's a good time. I had a good time in Miami. It is 82 degrees when we leave Miami and fly to Cleveland. When we maybe 2.5 hour flight or something like that. It is 22 degrees when we land in Cleveland. So I spent the entire 2-day trip, other than when I was at the arena or at the arena for shoot around or the game, playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I beat the game or finished the game in a hotel room in Cleveland on a Lakers trip. That game is white people shit. But
He's incredible. Is what it is.
Wait, was it you who was saying to play, or was it Harrison? You or Harrison was talking about you got to play it again, or suggesting that I play it again while being like as awful as possible.
Terrible.
Yeah, like the villain at every chance you have to do something good or better or bad or worse, you do the least good option of all of them. You do the least magnanimous. You just do the antithesis of what a decent human would do in the yeah. All right, and it's like a different game.
Oh my god, it's so much more fun. It is so much more fun.
All right, maybe I cracked that.
I am deranged when I play it that way.
You still play? Do you still fire it up?
Yeah, I'll hop on there every so often. I've obviously, I think like PS5 does this thing that does not help with marriages at all, where it like tells you how many hours you've played certain games.
Oh,
and like mine is in the hundreds or something like that, nearing the thousands.
It sounds like the screen time, every Sunday morning on your iPhone, the screen time thing. You was like you were up 28% of screen time. You were average 14 hours a day. Mind your business, iPhone. Stay out my goddamn business. Stay out my goddamn business.
Jen will walk by when I'm on the intro screen there on my PS5, and she'll say like, "How many hours?" And I'm like, "Man, like, come on."
Oh, so it's the intro screen for every game when you fire up a game.
Yeah, it'll say like
you disable this feature.
I need to find a way to, because all I'm saying, man, is that like PS5, like snitches get stitches. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I will go out and get another one.
I don't have a PS5. I don't have one of those. I got to get one for when college football comes out.
Yeah, they're everywhere now. They were really hard to get for a while, but they're everywhere now. All right.
At this point, do I just wait for a PS6? When is that happening?
No, that's not for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, that is going to do it here for this episode of the Lakers Lounge podcast. Again, we will be live on the air right after the game. Tomorrow, the plan, at least right now, is to be on the air with the rest of the guys on All Access Lakers. By the way, please do go out and check out yesterday's episode where my dude Rome was on it, Raj was on it, I was on it. We were trying to get Shub on it, but he's out of town. But that was like that was 3 of the 4 of us who were normally on All Access Lakers. That was really fun. And if you enjoyed that conversation, that's what it's like when we watch games together. That will be, you can do that All Access Lakers, or no, playback.tv/All Access Lakers is where you could watch the game with us. But I am warning you guys, I am dipping from that broadcast as soon as things start going negatively. And because I am not going to be in the mood to watch this Lakers season end in a sweep. But no matter what happens, I will be right back here in the lounge. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you guys are listening in the form of on your podcast, you can find this everywhere, preferably Odyssey. And one more thing before we get everybody out of here. I know recently I've been splitting up the pods, and I've gotten a few I wouldn't call them complaints, but questions for the process that's going into this, which is still a working process. I spoke to my bosses at Odyssey, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue breaking this up, but I'm also going to offer a full unabridged version of the conversation. Now that is going to have ads throughout, so you're going to see ads on the back half of the show too. But that will, for those of you who want just a full flowing conversation there, that is going to be where you get that. And then I'll also break it up into the appetizers that I talked about earlier this season. And for those of you who want it kind of more subject by subject, you can get the show that way too. So until the next time you guys hear from us, I'm Anthony Irwin. That was Aaron Larsoul. This has been the Lakers Lounge. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Make somebody else's, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.